Thank you, Simran. So this is really interesting, right? I was told that this is going to be a conference about the best minds in design. And when I looked up the lineup of speakers, and there were like out of 4 talks, there were 3 women. And I came here expecting that this room was going to be full of women, because design is creativity and that is women, and look what we find. So anyway, my name is Aditee Rele. I work for Microsoft, like someone mentioned, and I basically lead technical evangelism. But I'm going to not have a technical conversation today. I'm going to stay away from the typical code-related conversations that we have today, because we have the best minds in design out here. I'm going to talk to you about what we're doing from a perspective of enabling new age of computing or a new era of computing. Traditionally we've built applications, web applications, thick clients, smart client applications that have been very business process centric, business process oriented. And we want to see if we can move away from, well, not really away, but we can extend these business process applications to make them not just productive applications, but intelligent applications. From a Microsoft perspective, we can give you the tools, technologies, platforms. But honestly, it's your creativity, it's your ingenuity that is really going to help us leverage those technologies and take it to the next level. So when someone mentioned that I can help people adopt these technologies, I'm always on the lookout for people who might have brilliant ideas to take something to the next level, but don't know if it is supported by technology. And then we'll come in and give you the tech support or tech knowledge required for you to go and build those applications. So that's really the conversation I'm going to have today with you guys, and hopefully at the end of it, your mind should start thinking about what more you can do. So let's start with a very simple thing that happened in 1977, right? DC used to make something called mini computers. These were like these typical black and white screens, one dabba behind, black and white screen on top with the computer. I wasn't there then. I was probably just born, so I don't really know how they looked, and I don't even want to know how they looked, but I do remember people telling me that there was these mini computers and there were these large, massive mainframes which are probably the size of these buildings that were used for computing power. And the president of the company said that that was the time when 75-ish Bill Gates said that, hey, we want to have a personal computer on every device, on every home. And the president said there's no need for a personal computer on every device. And today it might sound like a really crazy statement, but he wasn't wrong then. Because at that point in time, computing had a very different flavor, had a very different connotation. It would have been ridiculous to think about every home having this kind of a device in their it would have been ridiculous to have this kind of a device at home. So he wasn't wrong, but in the last 25 years, things have changed massively. I'm sure 25 years ago, no one had the vision to even think about where computing was going to go. And look at where we are today, right? If you look at our own lives, our whole lives are governed by computing. I was joking about this to somebody. I'm not really bothered if I don't get water in my house for 2 hours or electricity in my house for 2 hours. But I'm very bothered if my internet goes down for even 15 minutes. Does that happen with you guys? Yeah? Every time, they say that जब हम किसी के घर जाते हैं, understand हिंदी here? Yeah? जब हम किसी के घर जाते हैं तो लोग हमको चाय पानी पूछते हैं, right? आजकल हमको वाईफाई का पासवर्ड पूछना ज़्यादा अदब की चीज़ मानी जाती है. So it's more respectful if you ask somebody, would you like my Wi-Fi password, right? So that's the kind of world that we're living in. And this is not really about just your computer, right? It's not just about, until 2-3 years ago, our world of computing had come up to, I have a laptop, I have a PC, I have a mobile phone, I have a smartphone, and so on and so forth. But our world of computing has gone way beyond that. Our world of computing has gone way beyond just 2 or 3 sets of devices. It has come to a fitness band, it has come to a diabetes machine that is plugged into your body, it has come to a collar that is on your dog, it has come to your plants telling you that, hey, look, you've not watered me for 10 days, my pH balance is really going down. It is about all of these things. Your entire world is actually dominated by computing. By the way, I'm thinking of moving to an iPhone. which is blasphemous because I'm a Microsoft employee and I should have a Windows phone, and I do have a Windows phone. But I was looking at somebody's iPhone and I thought this is a really cool device, because there's an app there which, by the way, is not configured or whatever. It just comes as a part of the device, I'm told, which tells you that if I've gone from here to there, actually how many steps I've done, without really going into the app and configuring that I want to know how many steps I've done, right? So when you're looking at your screen, you're like, shucks, I've only walked 5 steps today, and then this is what happens. So your whole world is going to be defined by such kind of applications, and therefore it is important. How many of you guys are web developers here? Okay, and the rest are design people? Okay, application developers? Hosters? Infrastructure people? I'm just trying to get a feel of what you guys are. So here's the reason I ask this is because we've been traditionally taught to think about when you get a requirement from a customer, let's translate that either into a web application or a mobile application, right? It's time to let go of those boundaries. It's time to think about, I have to develop an application, period. And that application can be delivered via a smartphone, it can be delivered via a web, it can be delivered via your fitness band, it can be delivered via an IoT device, anyhow, right? It's important that all of us rethink this notion of applications. I put up this topic, and I was talking to Vihana, I put up this topic saying, let's talk about intelligent web apps. And while I was thinking through the content as such, and no, I'm not so creative to put this together. The slides are all a mashup. The content information might be mine. But when I was thinking through the content, I realized that it's not really intelligent web apps, is it? It's really intelligent applications. And you all have to start thinking about how you bring forth the intelligent applications. Intelligent applications, when you start thinking about them, you also have to start thinking about how are you going to interact with them, right? Today, not today, but a couple of years ago, we were used to sitting in front of a machine. If you had to do work, you had to go to office and sit on a machine, right? If you have to do work, then you have to sit on something and look at your mobile phone, because you can't really walk around and type on your mobile phone. It's difficult. Of course, there are people who type and write, but that's a different story. But we've been a very machine-centric productivity users or consumers or whatever. We want to move from machine-centric to a lot more human-centric. Gone are those days of getting us as developers to understand the computer language. We want the computer to understand us. And I'll talk a little bit more about that aspect later on. But understand this, that today's consumers expect that everything is going to be available at every given point in time. Everything is going to be always connected, always available. It's going to be personalized. It's going to be, you're not going to have to remember complex alphanumeric, those alpha characters, what have you, passwords. People are not going to remember that. You cannot be expected to, each one of us has multiple email accounts. Each one of us has multiple shopping sites, registered on shopping sites. It's humanly impossible, banking accounts. I'm sure we have at least 2 or 3 banking accounts. It's humanly impossible to remember passwords of each one of these every now and then. So can we make the computer become a little more human and figure out another way of interacting with these people, with applications? So what we've done is, where we want to be. We were at a machine-centric interactions. We want to go to a human-centric interaction. Humans are all about emotions, gestures, hand movements, tones, speech tones, and so on and so forth. How do we actually build that into our applications is what we are looking at. What I want to do is quickly play you a video. Hang on. Just explain the context of the video first. So this is really what our vision for intelligent computing is all about. Like I said, Microsoft will give you the tools and technologies. It's your vision that will have to bring this to reality. And then I'll get into a little more detail about, making the abstract into.
There is a spirit that compels us all to move forward, to push beyond what is possible, and create a more amazing tomorrow. It is the force behind every human achievement, every advancement, every revolution. Be it art, industry, science, or technology, it fuels us, inspires us. We're on the cusp of a digital revolution, a new era that places you at the center of your digital world, where who you are and what you do matters most. We believe technology should adapt to you and what you do naturally. Ask a question with your voice, draw with the flick of a pen, and secure your most important things with a smile. We believe technology should be so simple, so natural, that it becomes invisible, leaving nothing between you and what you want to do. And we believe that there are no limits to what you can achieve when your ideas come alive, where the world becomes your screen, and almost anything is possible. This is the digital revolution. More personal, more intuitive, more human. Just imagine what you'll do.
So what does this really mean? If you have to drill this down into further aspects, there are really three things that really matter most from an intelligent computing perspective. Natural interactions, mobility of experience, and you do all of this without compromising on the trust or on the security of the products and applications. So I want to go through each one of these in detail to look at some things that characterize these elements. So we talked a little bit about rethinking human interaction earlier, right? We said we're going to go from machine interaction to more human interaction. If you look at the past, our inputs and outputs have always been measured by either audio and text on audio and display on the computing side with keyboard and mouse, right? Your computer has always been able to send sound off, and your computer has always been able to take take input in form of a keyboard, right? We want to move away from that and make it more human. So, for example, look at all of the five senses. Now, obviously, you can't put taste there, but can you make the computer see? Can you make the computer hear? Can you make the computer talk? Can you put emotions? Can you put sentiments? There are lots and lots of tools today that do sentiment analysis. One of the biggest problems with sentiment analysis is you cannot recognize sarcasm. All of us can recognize sarcasm, right? But the computer cannot. So the computer has to learn, and the learning has to be based not on the sentence. The sarcasm is a combination of the sentence as well as the way you say that sentence. You agree? Yeah? So how do we make the computer learn teach that? But that is kind of important so that we can actually build applications that recognize that kind of behavior. And then on the other side, you look at gestures. Let's so these are a bunch of things, speech, ink, gestures. Let's look at gestures for a minute. So today we have because of the touch phones and the touch device, touch screens that we have. There is the ability. There are applications that do two touch, like a pinch and zoom or rotate and stuff like that, right? I'm sure all of you guys use that on your smartphones as well. But Steve Jobs said a fantastic thing, right? He said we have 10. We have 10 stylus, right? Now, can you think of technology supports the use of 10 styluses. Can you think of applications that actually use those 10 styluses? On the device, you might. So, for example, on my Surface device, I can use 3 fingers to do Alt-Tab. If I use 3 fingers in the front, it's Alt-Tab. If I do 3 fingers in the sideways, it kind of moves between various screen displays that I have. Now, that is inbuilt into the device per se. Can you build such features into applications? Did you see the Surface dial that was announced a couple of days ago? Yeah? So it was brilliant, right? Because on one hand you could use the Surface dial and change the color, on the other hand you can draw. So as you're drawing, your color palette is changing. So you're able to draw like a rainbow by just changing the Surface dial. That is using multiple touch points. Can you think of building business applications that kind of do this? As designers, as developers, as probably consultants to your customers. Let's look at the next one. Extending familiar experiences. Now, the thought beyond doing this is not really, hey, let's dump all the business applications and only focus on consumer applications. or let's dump everything that has already been built, the millions and millions of applications that have been built, and look at new age applications, new era applications. No, what we really want to do is take your existing applications and see how we can enhance them to be more intelligent, to be more productive, and to use the kind of technology that we're talking about. I'll give you an example of that. In a particular state in India, the bureaucracy decided that we want to implement a appraisal process management. And brilliant concept. Every quarter, all the bureaucrats should come and put in their comments and submit the form, and then it goes through an appraisal workflow with their managers and so on and so forth. Pretty rudimentary, right? All of our working corporates have this, right? So they went ahead and did the implementation, and they were very kicked and big fanfare announcement and stuff like that, and people started using the system. And then people realized, and then over the years people realized that people are not comfortable, bureaucrats are not comfortable writing their appraisals in English or typing their appraisal in English, right? What they were really used to is, in the past they've always used paper forms, and because they use paper forms, they used to use their native script to write their appraisal. So I'm not going to say the state, but let's say in Maharashtra, you would write it in Marathi. In Telangana, you would write it in Telugu. Right? So the script is different, right? Now, what started happening is, after 2-3 quarters, it started getting tedious. So these guys would print out forms, write their appraisals, and then upload that form into that system. Completely defeats the purpose of building the system, right? The idea was that you create legible, understandable input that you can refer to maybe 3 years down the line about what this person has achieved. So obviously you defeated the purpose. So when they came to us with this problem saying, hey, how can you help with this solution? So we said, why don't you do this? Why don't you ink enable the form? Just keep the application as it is. We'll just put in a couple of lines of code, literally 5 lines of code, and ink enable the application. So what happens now is, instead of typing using a keyboard, they can actually write. Now once they write, there are 2 ways of storing. You store it absolutely as it is, like the way they've written in that handwriting, or inking also has the capability to convert what you've written in handwriting to the actual script in computer font. So like a Marathi script would be converted to a Devanagari script in the computer and stored in the backend. I'm sure there's an equivalent for Telugu script as well. Now you've increased productivity multifolds, right? Because now they're not going to take printouts and stuff like that. They're just going to simply write on the form and upload that form, and you're set. So when we talk about extending familiar experiences, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to take to our customers, our partners, our end users, and say that technology innovation doesn't mean that you dump everything that you have and rebuild from scratch. It's taking what you have and enhancing it to the next level. Let's look at intelligent assistance. That's the third parameter when it comes to human interaction, the natural language inputs, right? Now, typically, how simple is it to create a vacation application? I'll tell you my own experience, right? We have a vacation tool that is in our intranet that is not exposed on our extranet. I spend 75% of my time on the streets, 25% on the time I go back to the office, and that's only to submit bills. Don't record that. So when I'm in office, when I'm outside, it's very difficult for me to apply for leave. Why? Because I can't access my intranet unless I connect to my VPN and stuff like that. Now, how simple is it to apply for a leave? Very simple. You select start date, end date, you select why you want the purpose of the leave, and you say why you want to go, and it's actually a pretty 5-6 steps form. What I'm saying, how simple is it to apply for leave? You just want to say, I want leave on 23rd and 24th of December, period. That is how simple it should be. Agree? And when it comes as a manager, when I get a leave request from one of my team, how simple should it be for me to approve it? Again, I'm 75% of the time I'm outside. The poor fellow wants to go on a leave, and I'm not able to approve his leave because I'm not going back to office, right? I want to simply be able to say approve, and that should be approved, or reject, and that should be rejected, right? So the essence here is we want to convert these rudimentary steps that happen that we kind of defined in the past into more intelligent steps. I want to create a bot who's my personal assistant or who's a vacation bot, And you can just say, hey vacation bot, can you go please apply for leave on 23rd and 24th of December of 2016? That's it, you're set. The vacation bot will go figure out when to connect to the VPN and call the respective API and apply for leave, and once the leave is applied, it will send a notification to my manager saying, hey Narendra, you got a leave request from Aditee. And Narendra again, he's out 90% of the time, he's barely there in office. So he's just going to look at the notification and he's going to say, okay, approved, and that's it. How easy have we made people's lives, right? So think, who said this? Some very smart person said it, I can't remember right now, in recent times, that in the next 10,000 startups, the idea is very simple, right? The business plan is very simple. You take a business process, attach AI to it, and you've got a business plan. Well, that's exactly what's going to be, right? I'm going to take vacations, I'm going to put AI on it, and I'm set. I'm going to do that for my travel, I'm going to do that for my expenses, I'm going to do that for my vacation planning with ClearTrip or Make My Trip or what have you, and I'm going to be able to do the solution, right? And then we also want to take this intelligence to businesses themselves, not business applications, businesses themselves. So yesterday I was in a meeting and somebody was telling me that to be able to run my Salesforce properly, I have about 67 reports that I look at. I feel like, wow, that's phenomenal. And do you have 67 reports? That's not a joke. One report, if you kind of stare at it, it's going to take away a good chunk of your time to really analyze and really sort of drill through and look at all the parameters and what's optimal, what's not. 67 reports, it's madness. So I said, okay, so how do you, what are those key things that you really want from it? Is there a prioritized list of reports that you go through? Or every day you go through all of them? Or every month you go through all of them? No, I have to go through everything because all of these reports have to get some information or the other and collate it all together into a new dashboard, which his developers have done a phenomenal job of. But what if we were just able to create applications that say, summarize sales for me for the last 2-3 weeks? We just say that. And then these applications go and look at those 67 reports and pull out the information that you want and aggregate that information and present it to you. How many Windows phones have I sold in the last 1 week? Let them do the job, right? You just type in a query that you want. Instead of looking through those many reports and trying to build something that is eventually going to take away a lot of your time every month, become more intelligent. So again, like I keep saying, right? The technology is something that we'll provide to you. The kind of ideas or the kind of innovation that comes out of you have to be yours, right? Alright. Let's look at the second mixed reality. This is really, really interesting, right? Now, in Redmond, when you go to Redmond, if the counterpart in Redmond is really nice and you know how to pull strings, you actually get a 1 hour session of how the holograms and how the HoloLens kind of does its job and so on and so forth. Microsoft is actually being very particular about who they do HoloLens with. So, very niche applications, very high-end applications and so on and so forth, which is a good thing. But there's a company called, is anybody from Imaginate here? There's a company called Imaginate right here in Hyderabad. They've done such a brilliant job with mixed reality. They've taken HoloLens and they're the only company in India to have a HoloLens device. In fact, they come to Microsoft in Hyderabad and show off how the device actually works and stuff like that. So they've taken HoloLens, they've taken Facebook's Oculus Rift and stuff like that and built a collaboration engine on top of it. Reason being, today, and that's a fact, if I have a HoloLens and you have an Oculus Rift, there's no way of, we don't have a way of collaboration, we don't have a way of communication, right? So can you build a platform to do that? They've done that. Brilliant job. I mean, I'm super impressed with what they've done. Now, where are these going to be used, right? Simple example, you want to do training on a shop floor, instead of getting everybody from various factories into a particular training factory, use HoloLens to train them. Some people are actually thinking about using HoloLens for army. Training the army in hard terrains and stuff like that to be able to do what they do best. So, applications, multitude of applications. Technology there to support it. How can you take business applications and take it to the next level? Your job. right? Right. So let's look at the second aspect. So we talked about natural interactions, how we're moving away from machine-centered to human-centered. Let's talk about mobility of experience. Now, this is actually really simple to understand. What you want to do is actually build connected experiences. In the past, we've always talked about responsive applications. Responsive applications mean you can build something on the web, and you can also take that experience and put it on the mobile, and it's not going to distort it. Or you're going to build an experience that is pretty much going to be common across multiple mobile phones or multiple PCs or multiple devices. What we want to really do is see if you can actually build experiences inside. So in the device today, you would have this, right? That is a hybrid, a 2-in-1 device from Windows, wherein when you plug it out of the keyboard, it actually translates itself into a tablet mode. It happens as a part of the operating system itself. What we want to figure out is, can you do that with applications? Can you actually build connected, responsive experiences into applications? Can you design applications such that if I were to plug it out of my keyboard, my application becomes so responsive for touch and the tablet mode? There's a site called the Great British Chef. You guys should look it up. It is probably one of the best designed websites I've ever seen. One is that it's also a food site which I like, but also it's beautifully designed. You should absolutely try and look it up if you can. So how do we actually build these connected experiences across applications, which is already there in most of our devices? The other thing we want to do is, mobility of experience is not just about getting from one device to another device. It's about making a device work for another device. As an example, you've heard about continuum. Continuum is the ability to take your Windows phone and the application, connect it to any dumb terminal, and make that terminal behave like a PC. Right? So you suddenly see a projection of Windows 10 on the tablet as compared to Windows 10 on the mobile. Now, can you translate this experience into apps? You have the APIs, you have the technology, you know the device does it. Can you do that? Can I actually look at let's say a dashboard of things on my mobile phone, which is really, really small, and when you explore that, when you connect that to a dumb terminal which does not have an operating system, Windows will give you the continuum, but can you then explore it, rather redesign it for the big screen? That's the question that we'd like you to think about when you think of applications per se. The other thing is, like you mentioned earlier, when you start thinking of human interactions, it's all about collaboration, it's all about emotions, it's all about gestures, it's all about communication. And unfortunately, again, yesterday's meeting we were talking about this, right? If I'm looking at a sales forecast and I don't like what I see, I want to be able to contact the person who's out on the sales force, field force right now to ask what's going on or to make corrective actions. You can't wait for that person to come back. I mean, you can, but you don't really want to wait for that person to come back and then say, hey, you know what, you have to make these adjustments and corrections and so on and so forth. For him to tell you, well, it's too late because I've already gone and done this. Right? You want to be able to take corrective action right there. Actionable intelligence right there. So, today there are tons and tons of collaborative tools that are available. Can you build collaboration inside your applications? Your entire Office collaborative suite is available using REST APIs. Skype, for example, is available using REST APIs. Can you build Skype inside your applications? Yes, you can. What kind of use cases? Absolutely any kind of use cases that require human interaction. Without losing the context of the application, you can get into Skype, have the conversation, and switch Skype off within the context of the application. So you're not even losing what you've started working on, right? So essentially, mobility of experience. It doesn't matter what device you're on. It doesn't matter. I saw this lovely video yesterday about Scott Hanselman talking about his personal diabetes solution that he's built. IoT device. So he has a thing that is attached to his body and a pump that is attached to his hand, and I really don't understand how the mechanics of the insulin works, but he's IoT enabled these devices to monitor his sugar level. So let's say you go to 150 or 140 and cross a particular threshold, he'll start getting notifications across devices. So on his band, on his mobile phone, on his wife's mobile phone, on his daughter's Facebook page, or what have you. Right? So these are the kind of experiences we want to build when we talk about mobility of experiences. Yes, we want applications to work beautifully across devices, but take that to the next level, right? That's what we're looking at. And then of course, the last element is trust. I don't want to dwell too much into it. While we do all of these bits, we don't compromise on the trust or on the security aspects of anything, whether it's the devices, apps, or the data. All of this you cannot compromise. I want to delve upon this for a minute. But look at an example, right? Today we have, I don't have my Surface right now, but I'm going to show you. I will look at my Surface to log in. So what my Surface is doing is actually using facial recognition and looking at the contours of my face to log me in. And funnily enough, it works in any kind of scenarios. Even I've woken up from the bed and I have a really swollen face, it will recognize who I am. Even I've tied up my hair and it was really ugly, it will recognize who I am. So and it learns over time. It kind of has deep learning built in. It learns over time per se. We want to see if we can actually take this to applications. So one of the things we're talking to one of the banks in India is, can I use Windows Hello to log in to my bank application? Now your face can't go wrong unless you have a twin brother or a sister. Your face can't go wrong really, right? So can we do that? Can I log into Facebook and Gmail and Hotmail and ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank and their securities using simply Windows Hello, getting rid of passwords? We're going to make an effort to experiment this with, like I said, one of our banking customers. But this is something that we'd like you to experiment with also within your applications. Okay? Alright, so this is actually a quote from Satya. The essence of this is really, we need to move away from very computerized black and white zeros and ones to a more human, emotion, gestures based applications, and that's where we need support from the entire ecosystem, because like I said, we will provide the technology, we will provide the mechanism to do that, but the implementation into use cases is not something we can do. I will talk to you about a bunch of use cases that we're working on later on. But before that, there are two core services that, like I keep saying this, right? We have to make the platform and technology is available to you to do that. And our platform and technology for you to be available to do that is really classified into what we call as the Cortana Intelligence Suite, made up of two things, which is cognitive services and the bot framework. So in cognitive services, the implementation is in form of about 5 or 6 APIs for speech, vision, text, and what have you, about 5, speech, vision, language, knowledge search. And intelligent bots is about being able to build a bot framework and give it out to any channel that you want. So let's look at this. So all of these services actually are built over intense machine learning. They're on the cloud. You can deploy it on-prem on your own. They're on the cloud. It has intense deep learning associated with it. So every time you're using a vision API or every time you're using a speech API, the backend is learning. So in this implementation using language, Lewis is what we call it, language understanding something. But where we want to work with the trading community, which is primarily a Guju community, right? The BSE and the LSE community, and they have this constant need to say iska bhav soch hai, anu bhav soch hai, whatever, right, in Gujarati. And however much you ask them to use English, they won't. The POC that they build, they continue to use Gujarati to communicate. They continue to use Gujarati to communicate with the device and with the application, and we said it's not going to work because we've only programmed it for English. And they kept saying it's not going to work because we don't use English in our regular transaction. Even हम लोग जब order place करते हैं तो गुजराती में place करते हैं. So where is the point in giving us an English interface to work with? So we changed that. We actually are experimenting with a Gujarati endpoint to see if we can actually use that and learn more about the patterns and the phrases that traders use and then deploy this application in real time. So some of the experiments that we're doing with these are really, really interesting. I will show you a couple of examples of what is available today. So visual speech language knowledge search. We were experimenting with search. This is available on the web as well. You can go to Captain AI or bot or something like that to test it out. So this gives you a really nice, description of the image. I'm not really confident, but I think this is a man standing in front of a television. Fair enough, he's fairly right. And we asked about this picture, and again, it was almost accurate, except that the algorithm thought that there was Narendra Modi was throwing a frisbee and he wasn't. And but notice this, right? It's not only about what that image is. It's also detecting the emotion. He seems to be smiling, right? So of course, as it learns further, it will know that that gesture is not really a frisbee, and the frisbee needs to be round and stuff like that. With this one, again, look at the fact that there are two elements that are missing out here, right? One, the algorithm thinks that Steve Jobs is eating a donut. Maybe the action is such that he is eating a donut, but he's also saying that hey, he seems to be tensed or seems to be grim with the emoticon. So, like I said earlier, right? It's not just about plain pure gestures. It's also about emotions that we want to bring into these algorithms. It's not always right. It's not always correct, because we all know this is not a black cat, and we all know that this is not a dog in the snow. I mean, if you go by this, you might just get yourself butchered. But anyway, like I said, this is all about deep learning. The more you feed such images, the more it will learn, the more it will understand the difference between a dog and a lion, and a cat and a leopard, and so on and so forth. Although it's not wrong, because the lion does belong to the dog category from zoology or maybe something, I don't know. Let's look at bot framework for a bit, right? So I gave you an example earlier about the bot framework, wherein I could apply for vacations, I could apply for my expenses, and so on and so forth. So bot framework really has three aspects in terms of implementation. You take your existing business applications, which are anyway, I'm sure, going to be would have been exposed via web services or some other REST API or something. You have the bot web service that sits on top of it, which is a framework. And then of course you have the bot connector that you can deliver via any channel. So you can use a bot inside emails and Facebook and Slack and Skype and so on and so forth. So I'll tell you this, right? We've been working with a lot of our customers today to implement bots. Everybody's excited about bots and everybody wants to build bots. And there has been no enterprise application that I've come across until in the last 3 months where we've spent more than 1 week implementing a bot for them. Right? So think about a very complex HR self-service application in a large organization, 1 to 2 weeks max. We've actually been able to pull out a bot for them. Right? So making these technologies available and making them really, really easy to use is already there. It's just about how you go about using them going forward. In terms of opportunities, like I mentioned, this is not just a business to consume or a B2C play. This is about even building your B2B applications in a certain way. So, a couple of examples. One we work with the company in the US. Again, I wasn't a part of it, but the company in the US was a food ordering. So restaurants would place orders with this food manufacturer, and there was a certain pattern that was implemented. That was they've been doing this for the last so many years, 10 years and so on and so forth. And with all the data they had captured, the food manufacturer realized that there is a certain pattern evolving for every restaurant. So every restaurant cooks a certain type of food and therefore places a certain type of order and a certain frequency. So they actually used machine learning to predict what the restaurant really wanted and did pre-orders for them. Saying, hey, you know what, on the 15th of X month, they just showed up at the restaurant saying, we think he might be out of blah, blah, blah. And I was like, the restaurants were like amazed, how did you guys know? And this is the kind of delight they're adding in their implementation with the customer. They not only build efficiency in their operations, they've obviously increased sales, because now you're not first going to the restaurant, taking the order, then going back and bringing the stuff that you want. You're actually going there with what the customer might actually need, and that's working beautifully for them. An example very close to home is a company called CarIQ. It's a startup. They were doing this car manufacturing OBD devices that you can plug into the cars. And the idea was to give these out to consumers so that consumers could track the health of the car. You know, how your tires are doing and how your petrol is doing and when you want to fill Hava and when you want to go and service your car and stuff like that. That is happening when you're working with CarIQ in terms of doing the IoT implementation for the device and so on. It was very closely connected with what the use case was. On one side, we're also meeting Bajaj Insurance. And the Bajaj Insurance guys are talking about, hey, you know what, we want to think about giving differential insurance to our consumers. So if you're really driving the car well, we want to give you lesser insurance to pay. If you're a bad driver, which all guys are by the way, we want to give you more insurance, right, to pay. And because I was lucky enough to be at both, I was doing CarIQ and I was also at the Bajaj meeting because they were doing innovation, and anything comes to innovation, people take me along. So I actually tied up the two, and I said, hey, why don't you guys meet CarIQ, see what they have to offer, give CarIQ as a device to your premium customers, and experiment and see if this differential insurance actually works for you. And just look at it. Today they've placed an order for 100,000 devices. Bajaj Insurance has placed an order for 100,000 devices at CarIQ, disrupting an established business which has absolutely no relevance to where they started from. Right? So there are solutions that you can build which actually drive disruption using the technologies we are talking about here. Across sales, marketing, finance, customer acquisition, retail. I gave you a really good retail example. In fact, each one of the big FMCGs, whether it's Unilever or whether it's Procter & Gamble, etc., they're actually working on a very interesting model. Your local grocer stocks certain items. So they want to be able to say that, hey, Mr. Local Grocer, based on your buying pattern, we want to give you 10 more packets of glucose this time because the store next to you has been selling 10 more packets of glucose. So you're probably missing out an opportunity out here by not having 10 more packets of this particular biscuit. Now this kind of intelligence to drive into our application is phenomenal. And what does it take? Just a simple machine learning algorithm to look over the data and predict these patterns. Right? Again, all these technologies that I'm talking about have a fantastic value, human value, and I'm going to leave you with a video that talks about what these technologies can do to the human life and values. And can you please play that video, the last video, please? Thank you, people, and hopefully I'll see you around for a bit.
I'm Saqib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7, and shortly after that I went to a school for the blind, and that's where I was introduced to talking computers, and that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives, and one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo,
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
and then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do. But artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate, and I'm really excited to see where we can take this. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far-off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning.